We're rolling.
All right. Do you do an intro or you just talk?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Food for Thought, the podcast with a super low budget and extraordinary people. And, you know, you don't have to be famous to be an extraordinary person, do you?
No.
You can be...
There's extraordinary people from all walks of life.
Yeah, that's true. That's a true statement. I'm going to have all kinds of different people on here.
Yeah.
You know, some will be super successful business people with a bunch of money, and they're interesting.
Yeah.
Some won't be.
Yeah.
But hopefully are still interesting.
I'm sure they will. Everybody has a story.
Exactly. That's my philosophy. So, Teray, how is it going since we last spoke?
It's going pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So what do you want to talk about?
Well, last time you were on, it was your first day of unemployment. So, how has the
Why you want to talk about that again?
Because I'm trying to catch you up to date. Everybody up to date with you.
Okay.
What's new with Teray? How's the unemployed life? How's mooching off the government on... No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. How's the unemployed life? You're not mooching off the government. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Just a little joke out there. Honestly, I've enjoyed it, but it's coming to an end really soon.
How soon?
2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking like sooner.
Like sooner than that. Not even 2 weeks.
That's why I'm checking the watch, you know? Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay.
You're always just interrupting me, though.
Sorry.
Yeah. Actually, next week. So it'll be coming to an end. But I've enjoyed it. It's allowed me to
do a lot of nothing for a little while?
Yeah. Any more questions?
No, that's it. All right, good time. It's a good episode. We'll see you guys next week. We air every Wednesday at 5. If you want to donate to the Food for Thought podcast, you can. The link is in the description below. We have PayPal, Venmo, and CashApp. All proceeds 100%.
Are you done?
I'm trying to promote the podcast.
Right, but this is not we just started.
Well, let me do it. Get it out the way in the beginning. If you want to promote the podcast, you can. 100% of the promotions, donations, whatever, they go to the podcast. So none of that is going in my pocket. Literally, if you donate 25 cents, 25 cents is getting put in an account just to help produce the show. I pay weekly editing charges or fees. I have to upgrade the cameras and like some of the equipment, and we're also moving from my living room to the 3rd floor, which will eventually be a space just designated for the podcast. So it'll be way more professional, way more legitimate. I'm not going to go like overboard with the professionalism because I don't want it to be like
too formal.
I want it to be comfortable, but I still want to like be in an environment that's like tailored to the podcast. So that stuff isn't cheap. I'm expecting around like 5,000 to 10,000, but I don't know if that's really... I probably don't need to spend that much, to be honest. I was just talking to some people about the things I want to get, and it's probably going to be less than that. But if anybody wants to help out and help promote or produce the podcast, you can help produce it by donating to the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and if you want to help promote it, just hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit share. You can leave a comment. You can tell your friends, tell your family. Talk about it at dinner with your mom and dad, or on recess at school. Yeah. I don't think anybody that watches this probably has recess, but you never know.
You never know. So what do you want to talk about now?
Well, let's get back to it. So you last were on here, first day off work. You hated your job completely. It made you completely miserable, and we were just talking about the value of... Well, I don't think we really mentioned it specifically, but I was watching it back and I was just thinking about how important a job is in your mental well-being. Like if you hate your job, like your job is such a big part of your life, and like your career is like a big part of your identity and how you feel and who you are and all that. So to have a job that you just can't stand and you absolutely hate, I feel like just negatively impacts your mental well-being so much.
And I think that's why I had to leave. because it's important. And I was like I told you before, I was at the point where I was crying pulling up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you do that often?
Yeah.
Really?
Probably every day for the last month there.
Every day?
Yeah.
Just crying, just driving up. Go to work today.
Yeah. No, well, it was like when I pulled up, like, I fucking hate this so much. And I wasn't like boo-hooing. Some days I did. And I would just call my sister and just cry, like, hate it here so much. And she's like, I know you do. She's like, why don't you just leave? I'm like, I don't know. Everybody tells me the whole, don't leave a job before having another one lined up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know. I gotta go. Mm-hmm. So I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good rule of thumb. You really, generally speaking, you probably don't want to leave your job until you have something to fall back on. But you did have something to fall back on. It just wasn't another job. It was a bunch of money that you saved because you have an awesome boyfriend who inspired you to save, right? Do you want to talk more about your boyfriend and how awesome he is?
So so this guy I met a little over 3 years ago or whatever. He's super awesome. Like he farts a lot.
Oh, okay. Sounds like an awesome guy.
I'm joking. But no, he really did inspire me to save more, and it did put me in a position where I could do this. So I appreciate him very much for that. And
yeah, he sounds like a tremendously positive impact on your life.
Yeah.
In probably more ways than just that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Like what? Do you want to go into detail on any of those things, or?
Just he showed me how to look at life differently. I think we both introduced a different feel of life to each other.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to see it from his point of view and for him to see it from mine and kind of bring two worlds into one.
What do you think you introduced to him?
Definitely a different culture. Like, I mean, obviously you'd been around other African American people, but
No, I actually haven't. My whole life.
You're right. So no, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm sure he'd been around other African American people, but times. We were able to be obviously more, like he was able to get a more intimate feel being with me. So it's been like a learning process, I would say. Wouldn't you agree?
And yeah, and I feel like your boyfriend's white, right?
Yeah.
So like you probably weren't even around like white people that much. So like the same could probably be said for you.
That is so untrue.
Like, you were just, you know.
I was actually around white people. So.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What was that like?
It was just like any other person I've been around.
Really?
Yeah.
So the stereotypes aren't true? They actually do know how to dance?
Yeah. Some, I think, but you know what? It's okay because not all black people know how to dance.
It's true.
Not
or
all
rap.
Mexicans, not all, hey, or rap. You're right.
Thank you.
So look, people are people.
That's a true statement.
You know what I'm saying? So
it doesn't get much more truer than that.
No, we're all just humans at the end of the day.
It's like saying it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Do you want a pat on the back? Because I mean.
Yeah. Go ahead. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
All right.
So,
Jeez.
Be careful with that microphone. It's probably like out of place. Hold on.
You got me like right here.
Get it together.
Nick, please cut this out.
Tell him what to do.
I said please.
Okay. Well, either way. Okay. This is what we said. We talked about this last time. If you want to pay him to do this, then you can. And
Nick,
then you can give him instructions.
Again, call me.
No, just say it here. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Deal. For real? You're not going to pay for it. That's all right. I don't expect you to. But we're not cutting anything. We don't cut anything on this show. This is as real as it gets. The realest podcast in the world.
So what do you want to talk about? Oh, you want to talk about it since we just went and saw that?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about it?
I think you'll float too.
Oh, so you want to talk about scaring me?
We can. We can talk about it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was
better than number one.
It was still pretty scary. I mean, I don't get scared. Like, obviously, I'm a grown ass man. Ooh. But like, I still got a little scared. You know what I mean? I was still a little scared.
I think that 2017 was not as scary Because the first one was more
Like the year, like what happened that year in the state of the world, or like the movie that was made in 2017?
Chapter 1 of 2017. It was not as scary.
Was this called Chapter 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this one was much more scary because it gave the backstories and it was just a bunch of freaky stuff in it. Like when
what? The naked old lady with the big saggy boobs chasing after her, like
that, but also like when they were
that was the scariest part, I think. The old lady in the apartment was so scary.
She was scary.
Yeah.
The part when she like did that with her body, it
don't
was
even
like
talk about that part, dude.
But no,
that scared me.
I was gonna say like on a freakier note with the fortune cookies where the like animals are popping out. That was gross. Did you see that part?
Oh, in the beginning?
Yeah.
When they all met?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was gross. It wasn't really scary. It was just like...
Yeah, that's why I called it like more of a freaky thing. Like it freaked me out, but it wasn't like scary. Yeah. And then like... I
mean, if it happened in real life, it'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
But as an audience, for me, it wasn't scary. It was just like...
And even though I remember Stan passing in the first... in the It from 1990, I didn't expect it to be like that. I thought that they were going to like spin it and he was going to live a little longer, but they just took him out. Like right in the beginning.
What, you thought they were gonna like leave it so they can make a third movie or something?
No, I thought that Stan was gonna be with the gang. You know how he passed away, like he just killed himself in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. I thought they were gonna spin it different this time. Shoot,
we should probably mention spoiler alert.
I know, I was gonna say that. Everything. Yeah, I was gonna say put that in the little description box.
That's cool. We can. If
you haven't seen it, you probably should fast forward.
It might cause a lot of dislikes and mean comments, but engagement is engagement, baby.
People are gonna be mean. Because of what?
I don't know. It was YouTube. People are mean sometimes.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't think people would be mean, but at some point, I mean, if we do this podcast long enough, somebody's going to be mean. So, it is what it is, man. We're not perfect. We have flaws. People are going to criticize us, and that's okay. Because we deserve to be criticized. Because we are imperfect human beings. And... also, people can be just mean by nature, so, like, even if we're not doing anything really that bad or wrong, people are going to probably say some mean stuff at some point or another. When I was posting music, I got people making fun of me, and I was just trying to make music. I wasn't trying to, like, I don't know. It just happens.
Yeah. Well, I hope they have better days. Anyway, so... Shots fired. Yeah. As far as the movie, though, I did like that they, like I said, they went into the backstory because I didn't know that Mike's parents died in a fire, like all that stuff. I didn't know that from watching the ones back then, unless I missed it being a kid. You know who Mike was, right? No. Mike Hanlon, the person who brought them all back. He already lived in there. That was yeah.
Why I can't describe him that way. It's like the easiest way to point him out. I just thought you were
trying to be funny because you're usually trying to be funny. No. But yeah, him from Derry. So I thought that he his story was interesting because I never knew that before. Mm-hmm. Keep it going. What about you?
Well, I mean, it was a good movie. It's all right. You know, a lot of CGI. Yeah. Which is kind of cool because they can do stuff that you could never really do before. But I always say this when I see new movies, just in general, whether it's like a Marvel movie or whatever. I miss the old days when they made everything that you saw on camera was actually in front of the camera, and they didn't do it behind the camera in post-production with the editing systems and that stuff. Yeah. The CGI and the graphic designers.
Well,
and the whatever.
That's interesting because when I was reading on like It 1990 versus It Now, a lot of people were saying hands down 1990.
Well, it's a classic. I mean, that's such a classic movie.
It's they were saying a
legendary movie almost.
They were saying like obviously Bill's role in it, he made it scary, but they were saying like
Bill who?
That's the actor who plays it.
Yeah, his name. What's his last name? Bill. It's not Bill.
Yes, it is. It's Bill Skarsgård or something like that.
That plays it. Mm-hmm. No, dude, he's the guy who plays in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. His name's like Curry, right?
He's in 1991.
Oh.
Bill played 2017 and 2019.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the old one.
No, so I was comparing those two. So, sorry.
Keep smacking that mic.
It's really close to me.
It's also really expensive.
I'm trying to avoid smacking that mic.
I'm just kidding.
No. But no, they were saying that they liked Tim Curry's because it made it scarier because it's like he could be next door to you, like really just painted face and like demonic and
Yeah,
killing
he's like
kids.
a real person. Well, that's it. Yeah, he's like the one in now. He's not like it doesn't seem real because it's not
like,
real. It's CGI. So
it's like obviously scary, but it's obviously fake. And they
Yeah.
were saying like the ones,
even though the graphics are like amazing, you know, everything's state of the art or whatever, like it's still
fake.
And you know it because it is. Like,
Yeah,
and back in
exactly.
the day, like that's what I think was so psychologically thrilling about those psychological thrillers back in the day was that it was just like real practical scary stuff, like real water, real whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they just
exactly.
made everything in camera and it seemed more authentic.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying. They were like, they were like, Tim Curry, he was funny like a clown, but crazy and psycho like a serial killer.
Yeah.
And then he was still dressed like a regular clown would be. So it's like if you look on the street and see him, you're going to avoid him because he looks freaky.
Sorry.
So.
I keep talking over you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, so that's all I was going to say about it. But I still think that 1991, as far as being crazier and scarier, just because it's more relatable, you could see that it walking down the street like, oh shit. And
The old one?
Yeah. And this one is just like, man, come on. Like, he's scary, but it's like with the CGI. If you saw him without all that, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. But it's also, I don't know, I mean, on the flip side of that, it's like with the CGI, it's like they can do so much more with it that it's almost scarier in its own way. Because it's
exactly.
like you could never do any of that stuff back in the day. So it would almost look faker. Like I know I just a second ago said that it was real, so it's like more convincing. But in a way, it wasn't because some of that fake stuff is so, like they had to do it without CGI being where it is today. So it was just almost kind of like not convincing enough. Yeah. So with this stuff, it's like it sort of seems more real in a way, but it's just the fact that you know it can't be real that you're like.
They definitely both have their like pros and cons.
Yeah, for sure.
So, because I know like we'll stop after this, but I know the beginning scene with Georgie, like I will say 2017 was way scarier than 1990.
There's just something like eerier about the 90 version.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's like more, it's just creepier because it's like the real first one too. I
think.
It's
eerie because it's like that really could happen. Like it just feels like
it just seems more authentic, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like he's like, dang, someone could dress up just like Tim Curry did without putting a lot of thought into it and do that. Like really.
I mean, some of that stuff, like in the 90s movie when the girl's in the bathroom and the balloon of blood like starts like that could never happen in real life, you know. Yeah. But it's like
the whole
it was still like a real balloon with real liquid inside it. It wasn't like some over dramatic experience where it's like computer graphics and like just some. That's the thing I think it's a great thing about movies today, but it's also sort of I think simultaneously the bad thing about movies today is that it's just like there's so much money put into movies nowadays and like that what technology is capable of doing that it almost lost some of that authenticity, at least is how I would describe it, I guess, that made me love those old movies. Like I love those old movies with like we just watched Waterworld. So good. I fucking loved that.
It was a good movie.
It was good, yeah. I mean, it got a lot of flackers. They say flack?
Slack, I think.
Flack.
I don't know.
It got a lot of bad feedback, but it was like the most expensive movie ever made at that time. And it was, I watched a video about it. They basically said that it was like one of, if not the last giant budget movie ever made where everything was done before CGI. And it was like, because they said right after that movie, they started doing like the Star Wars where George Lucas could prove that they could do, you know, like episodes 1 through 3 with a lot of CGI, or Jurassic Park where they were like making the dinosaurs out of CGI. So it was like right in that transition period where the movies before that were all like real, like Princess Bride and just, I don't know, like all that. And then it became Lord of the Rings, I guess, maybe even. And then but I don't know, Lord of the Rings came out after Jurassic Park. Anyway, I just feel like everything transitioned so heavily into being so CGI heavy. Yeah. If it's that type of movie. I mean, obviously like a romantic comedy or something won't have too much CGI, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I just missed like the simplicity of it.
Me too. I think that's, like you said, though, that's what makes those old movies so classic, and like you never get tired of watching them, because like now there's not that anymore.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like rely on that, you know, type of thing to appreciate the simplicity that was there before CGI.
I feel like there's so many old movies from like the 90s and before that I've never even seen, that a lot of them I've probably heard of and never seen and always wanted to see, and some I'm sure I've never even heard of that I'd probably love. So I think that would be really fun for us. Like this, we just bought those movies at Family Dollar the other day, or was that yesterday? Yes.
Yesterday.
and I don't know, they were like old movies. They're gonna have like shitty effects and stuff, and it's like I'd love that. That's kind of what I look forward to in movies,
especially like on rainy days and stuff.
Yeah,
just
it's just like campy and fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like movies, if they were made like that, if somebody just like a successful enough director decided to make some stuff like that today, like people would probably
and love
like
that,
it. Yeah,
appreciate
they
that.
kind of miss it probably. I mean, speaking for myself, I would love it.
Yeah,
there's gotta be other people who feel like me. So.
I do. So.
Let me see if this is still recording.
Okay. But have you ever seen the movie Grapes of Wrath?
I actually haven't, but I definitely know of it because that's like a really iconic movie too.
Yeah, like it's like a really old film, but I actually really liked it a lot.
Yeah, that was a book before the movie, and it's a super famous book. I don't really know much about it, but I've learned about it in the past, but I don't remember anything about it.
We should watch that one too.
Yeah, we should. I would love to just go through like some sort of like discography, or I don't know if that's the right word to describe it, but some sort of list where it's just a bunch of old movies, you know? Like I kind of want to watch like some old Mel Gibson movies because he's like an icon, and I've really not even seen hardly anything he's done.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many other big actors like that even like John Travolta, like I never saw Saturday Night Fever. I don't think I saw many of his movies. There's so many good movies and actors and directors that I really think it would be kind of fun to get more familiar with.
You can definitely do that sometime.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, so what else you want to talk about?
Whatever you'd like, Teray.
Well, you come on. You're
the guest. This show is about you today.
Yes, but I just introduced us talking about it, so you pick a different topic now.
Okay. We had a bit of a disagreement earlier, right?
Yeah.
Do you want should we talk about that? Like relationship stuff, advice? I don't know. It could be insightful. Or is that no? Is it no? Okay. No.
Nick, seriously, tell him. Cut this out.
We're not going to cut it out. If you don't want to talk about something, we just won't talk about it. But I don't want to cut stuff out of these. I just want it to be like when we start, when we stop. And that's it.
Well, so, yeah, but that's
okay, we'll just change the subject.
See.
Have them cut that out. It didn't have to be awkward. I feel like we could just talk about.
You threw me off.
We could talk about stuff without it getting like too personal.
But I don't know. What if what if we can't prevent it getting too personal? Because you know how we get, and then you're like, well, you said this, and then we're like,
that's
putting it all out there.
That's probably what the people want to see.
That's too much. We just started this. Like, let them get used to us a little bit.
Hold on. Keep talking. I want to see if your audio sounds good.
Yeah, I was just saying that's a little too much. It's too early. Let them get used to us, please.
Trying to expose you.
Yeah, or something. Or expose yourself.
Yeah, maybe. Well, what do you want to talk about? Your YouTube channel? Trey's trying to edit some her first YouTube video.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's gonna be just clothing, so it's just more for women. Try on haul.
Clothing haul.
Yeah, so clothing try on haul. There's a difference. Try on haul is you try the clothes on for the people, and clothing haul is just where you kind of hold it up and show it, and not try it on. So.
Okay. Not really my thing, but I support it.
Yeah.
It's what you want to do.
Thank you. So let's talk about your ski trip coming up, actually.
Okay. It's a ski and snowboard trip. It's like a resort
Yeah.
where people ski and snowboard.
Right.
So, what about it?
Talk about it.
Okay.
You gotta start a conversation.
I'm going to Colorado to like this Brent. I forget what the place is even called. I have to send my deposit in still, but I was gonna do that like today, but I keep putting things off. But basically, I think it's like a 5-day excursion where you have access. Like you pay for like this pass that encompasses the whole experience. Like you not aside from food, I guess, but basically you pay. I think it includes like your stay, like where you're staying, and like day passes for going snowboarding or skiing, depending on what you do. So, and then I think you get discounts on like rentals and stuff like that. So
that should be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've only snowboarded once in my life before, but
you excited?
I loved it, and I didn't have my own snowboard, so it didn't even fit my feet. So it was still awesome, but I knew like I could only do it for a little bit because it was like my friend's sister's board. So obviously like her feet are smaller than mine, and it killed my feet. And then I just ended up stopping because my feet hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And my friends were still going for hours, and I was just sitting in the car like, this sucks, but it is what it is. And then I never went snowboarding again since then. And I was probably 16 then or something. So this was 11 years ago.
Yeah, so you're ready to jump back in.
Oh yeah, I should have probably a long time ago. Snowboarding's kind of expensive to get into though. That's why a lot of people don't do it, I think. And that's why I didn't do it, because I mean, it's not like skateboarding. With skateboarding, you buy even skateboarding can be seen as expensive. Like to get a brand new complete professional deck would be like $150, but it'll last for a long time. And then a lot of people get like hand-me-downs from other people. Yeah. But with snowboarding, it's like the boards don't break that frequently. And so they're made, totally different material. They can cost anywhere from like a decent, semi-decent one would be like $300. A pretty good one would be like $800, and then they can go over $1,000, but obviously you're going to get probably what you pay for it. I don't really know too much about the quality of snowboards or anything, but I mean, just the little I've learned about it recently, like JR's who invited me to go, and he snowboards and he goes once a year to this trip, and then he gets like passes to Perfect North, which is, for those of you watching, Perfect North is a like ski snowboard place around here. So he goes all the time, and he was just telling me that there's like different types of snowboards. So there's ones for like just carving and like going down mountains and stuff. And then there's some that are more for like tricks. So
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
For you to try them out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm probably just going to buy like a normal looking one, or what I would consider a normal looking one, which is probably more of a trick one than like a carving one, but you can still use it fine, I'm sure. It might just be easier to do that. It's kind of probably the difference. I would probably relate it to like buying a cruiser board for skateboarding, or a longboard, or like a board that you would do tricks on, or like an old school board or something. So there's like different types, but they're all skateboards, and some are better for certain things than others. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be awesome to be like out in nature. I'm gonna be snowboarding down. Like, I mean, I guess they have like classes where you can learn, and then there's like the beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and probably others like courses or whatever. But so I'm just gonna see where I fit in. I don't really know. Like, I mean, I've only been once, but I used to skate a lot, but I still don't even skate really that much anymore, and I haven't for a long time. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I'll probably start on the beginner course, do that a few times, and then hopefully I can step it up to like intermediate, because I even with skateboarding, I could do tricks and stuff somewhat, but I always really liked like rolling around and pushing and rolling down big hills. So I think snowboarding is going to be great for me, because it's like
you can do all that.
Yeah, like on a skateboard, I can do power slides. It's way harder to do a power slide on a skateboard than a snowboard, because you have to like push the trucks against asphalt or whatever. With a snowboard, it's like, it's that pow, bro. You know what I mean? It's powder, so it's like just snow, and it's easy to do. So I'm sure I'll fall a lot, but I'll learn.
Okay. So let's talk about, remember we were discussing yesterday, I guess how you balance being assertive but not being unprofessional to where you lose work.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were
Yeah,
like
I
trying to
wanted to talk
balance
about that.
that
I'm glad
out.
you brought that up. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. I was thinking about bringing that up before we started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's. Do you want me to just?
Go for
Do
it.
you have any
I'm sorry,
questions,
guys. I keep moving. My back hurts really bad.
Yeah, I'm sure once we move this to the third floor, it's going to be so much better.
Yeah.
We're going to be. I think what we should do is probably have a table going between the people talking.
Yeah.
And then
Like
that
a
way
round
also it
table.
covers you like from waist down.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, it's just probably better for people in general. And
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know, I just feel like it'll feel more conversational that way, like you're at the table talking. And
Exactly.
we could call it table talk
Exactly.
or something. I don't know. I think food for thought's a good name though.
Yeah, I actually like food for thought a lot.
I feel like I need to get like a logo or something though. Like I like Joe Rogan's is cool because it's like the Joe Rogan experience. But I would feel lame if I was like the Kevin Hackett experience or something, you know. I kind of.
Or you could just
leave
leave
it.
it.
Yeah, I'm
food for
definitely gonna
thought.
leave it for now. And
Some people
you know,
enjoy just it being just that clean cut and simple.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to make a little logo. I just was thinking it could be like a light, have something to do with a light bulb, you know, like ideas, food for thought, you know, like get
I get what you're saying.
your mind
but
going. Could be a little brain with a light bulb, I
Yeah.
don't know, something. But
You could. So you mean keeping food for thought, but then making like something like
we're just
that
branding
around
it so that it's like recognizable, like
Yeah,
giving it
like
an image that's associated with the name. So it's like food for thought, and then the lower left-hand corner of the screen there could be a little food for thought logo in every episode.
Okay.
And then eventually you can make T-shirts.
I
and
thought
you
you
could
meant
offer
like
people shirts
changing
to
the whole name, but
No, well, I was saying I might change the whole name,
Oh, okay.
but I mean, I don't know that I will. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to figure things
it's an
out as I
idea.
go, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, I think making a T-shirt that would be a good way to. If you had a logo, you could make shirts, and then like I was talking about fundraising or whatever for improving the podcast. Shirts would be a great way to do that because for one, I make shirts for a living, so obviously that's convenient for me, and then I could make shirts for people like pay $20 or whatever, and that money could go towards funding the show. So
Exactly. Makes sense.
and even if I don't use the logo for the show, excuse me, sorry. Even if I don't use the logo for the show, I mean, we could do all kinds of different graphics. It doesn't have to be like oriented towards that. It could be like art or
Yeah.
some sort of saying or
It's just out there right now, right? Just an
Yes.
ideas.
yeah. I do want to follow through with that though at some point.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, like right now, you just don't know what direction you're gonna take it. Just,
Yeah, I'm still just figuring it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But anyway, like you were saying about being assertive but also professional, is that what you said?
Yeah, like just based on was it yesterday we had that conversation? No, it was
a couple
actually
days ago.
Saturday
Yeah.
when you were going to work. But
Yeah.
yeah, just balancing that out to where you're still being like respected in
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah, I
And
think
not-
it's important to not burn bridges if you can or if you don't want to. Like I think generally speaking, you shouldn't want to burn bridges. It's good to have a big network of people in your circle. And the more people I think you're connected to, generally speaking, I guess it depends on the quality of people or the type of person or whatever, but if they're professional and they're successful and they're like not a toxic person, they're a good person, and obviously that's up to you to evaluate. But I think if they're like a good person to have in your circle, then yeah, you don't want to burn a bridge. And everybody's got their own like agenda or whatever, so you can't really fault people too much for like where they're coming from. But I think it's also important to like know where to draw the line for yourself so that
Exactly.
you're respecting
Yeah.
yourself and you're getting what you deserve. And I think that way you're happy. You're not doing a job that you're unhappy doing because you accepted some terms and conditions or whatever, like a rate or whatever the case may be, something that you're unhappy with. And then you're like bitter or resentful about working with that person or the experience of the job. And
Yeah.
it's like I could do a job for $10 an hour that requires a ton of work and I would hate it. But if I got that exact same job and they paid me $100 an hour, I'd be like, this job's sweet, you know?
Right.
Because so like I think that goes to show that like just that is like a big difference in what like how you feel about your job. And obviously it's like if you like the type of work, then you might be willing to work for less. If you like the type of work and you get paid good, like that's like the best of both
That's
worlds.
like a plus. Yeah.
But it's not always that way for everybody.
And I was going to say for, there's situations where like you were saying, you basically have to have those standards and boundaries for yourself, but there's also people who aren't quite there yet and kind of have to roll with what they accept, or
I mean, I think so in any job, really, even if it's like your dream job, you still have to make sacrifices. Like I don't think it's really realistic to expect that like in any line of work you're not going to have some sort of challenges from time to time, but it's probably just a different type of challenge if you're doing your dream job. It depends, I guess, on the specifics of everything or whatever. But
well, I brought that up because I feel like it happens in all walks of life, in whatever jobs, like even people who aren't doing their dream jobs, like maybe there's someone who is working $8 an hour and right now that's all they can get. And,
it's like you got to take what you can get. Beggars can't be choosers. Like everybody has to start somewhere. I mean, I worked a bunch of jobs that I hated and I made less than $10 an hour at a number of them, and like then was making 10, then was making 12, 15 or whatever. And then like a lot of those jobs I didn't really love, but I was like humble enough to be able to tell myself like I don't have a better option right now, so like this is what I need to do for me to get to the next place. And I saw it as a stepping stone rather than like a permanent
obstacle or
misfortune or something of like, oh, I'm stuck here forever. Like no, it's just a stepping stone.
Well, in speaking of that, I mean, like along with the topic, like how does a person in that position deal with, maybe being treated unfairly or anything, even though they need it, is like that line between talking and possibly it going wrong or them getting let go, and if they're feeling disrespected or feeling like they're not getting what they need out of it. So I feel like that's like that.
It's like a delicate dance, but I think you have to like learn how to put your foot down at the right time, like, and just don't let it get too out of hand to where it's like so bad internally for you. Like if you're bottling something up, for example, that you eventually like explode on somebody. I think it's better to like, if something makes you feel a certain way, it's better to address it early on, even if it's uncomfortable for you because of you have to confront somebody or something like that. But try to do it in a way that is professional, so that way you're not like coming up to like it might be a confrontation, it could be confrontational to an extent, but like if it's really important to like pick and choose the words that you're using and how you're using them, because you could say the exact same thing to somebody and you could accomplish like a amicable like peace treaty, or you could try to say the same thing in a really aggressive way or something, and it could lead to you getting fired or something bad happening between you and that person. And so it's super important to think about stuff like that, especially with your job, but even in life in general. I think like personal life stuff, it's like you could say the same about that, really. But you gotta try to
tread with precaution.
I think you gotta value yourself and your time and respect yourself enough to do that. Because I think a lot of people don't hold themselves up to like a high enough standard to where they're just like whatever, like, and then they like let people walk all over them, and then they're bitter and resentful about it. Sometimes probably their whole lives, Like I've worked with people who, like at some of those jobs I worked at, who just complained every day, and it's like, then why the fuck are you here? Like do something about it and shut up, Like not to be an asshole or rude, but it's like seriously, like. Don't just complain about it every day. And then expect me to have sympathy for you. Like when you have all the control to make the choices necessary to change your circumstances.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, I get it. Like not to say you can't complain or anything. It's like, obviously like everybody's got a vent. It's just, I think some people just like to complain.
I was just going to say it's one of those things where you got to know where to draw the line with that. Like, okay, there's enough of this. Now I got to move on and find a solution. So you can't just kind of stay stagnated in the same place with situations like that, because you get nowhere, especially if you never know, your employer may not know that you feel that way. And sometimes it is just a simple conversation. Other times there is a little bit more, but it really just depends on the person.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point too, because like like you said, sometimes people don't even know that you feel that way. And you could be like building it up in your head like every day, day after day. It's just becoming like more of an issue.
Yeah.
And it's like if you just nipped it in the butt, like, is it bud or butt?
I think it's in the bud.
I'm gonna probably say like so many.
You
That's
heard
like a
him
bad
say
thing.
nip it in the bud.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that makes way more sense because it's like gardening. But like it's so much more productive, I think, to do that. But it's way easier said than done, also.
Yeah, because I think that people in positions like HR or just being CEO or CFO, that's already intimidating for people who
approach someone like that.
Well, yeah, for like bottom people who are.
Well,
like,
it can be. I think I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just wanted to add to that. Like for me, I mean, I've definitely felt that way before, but generally I try not to think like that. I think it's a counterproductive way to even adopt that mentality because you're just as important as the next person. I mean, obviously, like when it comes to the company, they might be more important to you than you, but like
you need everybody to
everybody
make the
has to respect each other, and like a CEO, if you're around them, like you shouldn't be intimidated by them. I don't think. Like, I mean, if you're like nagging them all the time or whatever, like you're a nuisance to them, then maybe you'll get that vibe from them or something. But like, I think people, you should, if you're like a manager or boss or CEO or whatever, like a leader, then you should try to be approachable. You know, you want to be there for your people. And
everyone's not, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like for the people in the back, it's not always like that simple. Like some people who are in, you know, those higher positions, they have that not so very humble attitude, and so it's very intimidating for people. I've worked with people like when I worked at the bank, and they were just like, it's pointless to talk to them because it just goes nowhere, you know. And so I guess it just depends. But you also, like what we were talking about me leaving my job, that type of stuff wasn't an issue. But just so where you're balancing out your mental state, and I mean, on one end for the employee, it can be as simple as overthinking, but for the employer, it could also be as simple as not taking account of the employee's feelings just as much. So I think that in that you have to find that balance as well. I mean, you need balance with anything.
I guess it depends on like what position you're in to really like you'd have to hypothetically address like one position or the other. But
well, I mean, for an employer, it could be as simple as checking in with their employees, like hi, you know, sending out little emails or anything if you have any questions, if there's anything and you
that may give me a thought. One thing I've noticed being a screen printer, I print for like a lot of small businesses, and so I meet like a lot of different people, and there's two in particular I'm thinking of right now, two customers that I've had that they seem to be like really close with their crew, and they were very like tight knit. Everybody seemed like friends, and like they cared about each other, and they enjoyed working with each other. And just doing little things like making them feel like they are more than a peg in like the cog of the wheel that turns the machine. Like the making them feel like a real human is important. And that was also another thing. Like before I get off on another tangent, those two customers, they would like buy their crew, you know, like for Christmas, like the one ordered a bunch of like varsity style like bomber jackets that were like embroidered on the left chest and a big embroidery on the back, and like that was not cheap, and that was literally just a gift for the employees. And then like another customer like I'm talking to right now was basically like asking about doing something similar for his employees. And so I think that makes a big difference. Just little things like that, you know?
Yeah, just to make employees feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Or just like team building activities and just stuff like that. I think it really plays an important part. And it just, or even those little surveys that they have sometimes where it's like, tell us what you think.
Yeah.
But they have to, as employee or employer, actually read them.
Yeah, I mean, even
get the ideas.
Talking about this now makes me think like when I mean, I work with a number of people now, but I feel like as I develop that more and more and get more involved with that, I should probably do something similar so that everybody's happy working together. Because it was really insightful for me to work on the floor at like the production floor at the print shop that I worked at, one of the biggest print shops in the country, if not like the world. They're huge. And so I was around all the printers and all like the low level like people who don't matter, you know. And not that they even were treated like that by management. Like I think the management there was good, but they were just had a lot of problems with the way that the business was ran, like as far as, you know, like when they got raises or like the gain sharing or whatever it was called, like the rules on the things like that. So it was really insightful for me because I owned my own business doing that, and I was just starting out, and I was working there as a printer also. So I was like, I'm kind of seeing both sides of things. So I would talk to the managers and get their perspective, and I would talk to the printers and get their perspective. And I was one of the printers, so I like really related to like their frustrations with the way the company treated them and the way the managers had to treat them and stuff. And then I would talk to the managers too, and I would hear why they felt this way and that way, and try to be sort of like neutral about it. But it was just really eye opening, and it made me think like one day if I get my business to that point, or when I do, like it'll
encourage you to have some common ground with
yeah, for sure. And it'll be really good for me to have had that experience to like think about as far as like relating it to that.
Yeah, moving forward. So I agree. But I'm glad we talked about that because I remember how that made you feel a couple of days ago. And I'm like, yeah, there's so many instances where you kind of feel like your back is against the wall sometimes. Not just employees, but employers too. So can definitely go both ways depending on what field or the job and so forth.
Yeah. So. And I think in the past, like I'm getting better and better at it, and everybody always told me I would as I got older and had more experience and dealt with more people and things like that. But I've had like a lot of experiences where I just felt like people were taking advantage of me, or people were like not valuing me or whatever. So I think that I guess like as I got older, I got a little more hip to it, or I just got had a better understanding of how to like draw the line and like how to talk to people also. Because I used to like try to do that when I was younger, but a lot like in some cases it led to like really unpleasant experiences where like I would be in an argument with somebody or whatever. And it's like, if I knew better back then, I could have, one thing I learned, and there's a situation I'm thinking about in particular with a guy that I worked for who will be on the podcast at some point, but like when we were working together, we got into it like a lot at a certain point or a couple points. And but one thing I took away from that was really a good learning experience is like I got paid complete shit on that job, but I also was like brand new. And so in hindsight, I was like, well, you know, he was kind of taking a risk hiring me because I was straight out of college, didn't really have a great portfolio to show him, like had a lot of passion and enthusiasm and some decent equipment, but I wasn't really that organized or professional or together yet. And my ego thought that I was, but in reality, I was like sort of wild or whatever still. And so, but I still felt like I deserved more pay wise, and you could still easily argue that I should have been paid more, even with that being said.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I got what I got. I'm happy that I got paid to do what I did. I learned a ton from it. I got a ton of practice shooting, a ton of practice editing. Still got paid. I mean, the amount of hours I put in, I definitely made less than minimum wage. Like when you think about the hours versus the amount I got paid. But it was also one of those things where like I really valued the experience just for the simple fact of the experience itself, you know, like
being able to learn and pick up on.
Like he was a really, really like successful guy. He's very like self-made as well. So he's a multi-millionaire, like super business savvy, great at negotiating. So I always thought that too, like when we were trying to make deals, like, oh, this dude's going to try to like get over on me because he's a master negotiator. And I think he kind of did, but like because he did, I like learned so much, you know. And I also like one of the key things I think that I took away from that was to not involve your emotions in business, because I was getting very emotional about things happening. And so I mean, taking your emotion out of business is sometimes hard to do, but I think it's a smart way to do it, to do business. Business isn't an emotional game. Like, it's like people are there for the simple reason of, like, you know, trying to make money or serve a product or a service or whatever. So I mean, as shitty as that is to say, and it's not to say there aren't good businesses out there that like care about people, but you still have to just be aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you should put your emotion and your feelings and your passion into things, and you can make those things monetized and like make a living with them. But I feel like you kind of have to draw the line on that as well, because like I was so like, my work is my art, and like it was just so easy for me to get taken advantage of because of that. Like, I took on so many jobs that I got paid like chump change because I didn't know any better and I didn't value my own self enough. Like, I there's so many times where I could have asked for twice as much money or 3 or 4 times as much money, and I didn't, because I didn't value myself enough to do that, or I didn't have the knowledge or the courage or whatever. There's probably,
I mean, the worst thing that can happen is they tell you no.
right.
So,
and then you can not make a counter offer like, oh, well, how about this?
Exactly.
But sometimes that's not always the case.
experience.
Sometimes they'll tell you no, and it's like that ship sails. But
Yeah.
again, it's still a learning experience, even if that's the case. That's happened to me a ton of times as well.
Yeah. So, I agree. What else you want to talk about?
What else do you want to talk about? Did you start your YouTube channel yet? You're just using the one that you already have, right? Okay.
Yep.
Shout you out again. You want to shout you out again? Teray Lanier. TerayLanier. Go subscribe to my girl, Teray Lanier.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hopefully you get at least one subscriber. I have 10,000 or so if nobody subscribes to her, I'll feel really incompetent in the YouTube landscape. I already feel a little whack on YouTube. Not gonna lie.
So it's finally getting cold. Are you excited?
Yeah.
I'm like, I love the summer, but this time around, I was just like ready for it to get a little cooler.
Were you?
Yeah. I don't know if it's with me getting older, because I know being a kid and being a teenager,
Yeah,
like early 20s, I'm like, I hate it. I hate the cold. But now, like, I guess settling into age, I'm just like okay with it a lot more, where I'm just like,
yeah. You know what else would be a good name for the podcast?
What?
Small talk.
Small talk.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess
we're talking about weather. You know?
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, all the topics aren't gonna always be like deep or in depth, but I feel like we just covered a couple things that were like, so this kind of is like bringing it back down a little bit. So what else?
I don't know, dude. What else do you want to talk about?
I'm doing it because my back hurts.
Like a snake over here. I'm like trying to.
My back hurts really
charm
bad
you.
sitting like this.
I don't know. I mean, is that it? Are we running on empty? We've been going for like almost an hour.
We can wrap it up.
You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, my
Okay.
back is hurting.
Yeah, this isn't great as far as posture goes. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and
how I
then
feel
my
every
back
time I do one of these. Like,
issues.
my neck is like cocked to the side.
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I supposed to sit
Just
on
keep
this couch?
shifting.
Like,
I
should
don't want
just
them
sit
to
like
think
this the whole
I'm
time.
like ADD or
And
something.
then my back is hunched. And
I know. It's like,
yeah.
so. Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing this with me again.
You're welcome. Got the hots for him.
Yeah. Isn't she lovely, ladies and gentlemen? Teray Lanier.
I'm tired too.
Yeah.
Are you tired?
No.
I don't know why I'm tired.
I think you're just making excuses. I don't even know what. I don't know why I just said that.
Yeah.
All right. This is it. This is the end.
This is the end. But we should or wait, should we just save that for
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, can I get there?
Yeah, well, you just asked if we should save it for the end. I had
Well,
to answer your question.
Well, let me get something out.
You just asked me a question and I answered it. Now you're like, can I get there? Like, yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
okay.
You're going to watch this video back and you'll see.
Okay, well,
You
I'm
will
just
see. Okay?
Okay. Well, I was
Go ahead.
I was just
Go ahead.
Let the games begin. I was just gonna say, as far as like what we have going on with the challenges and stuff, should we wait to bring that up?
You can bring it up if you want.
I mean, we can wait.
We can hype it up a little bit. give the people what they want,
I mean,
cause
yeah.
a little buzz
Yeah. Good.
to my 10,000 subscribers almost.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta start somewhere.
Pretty impressive
Give yourself
numbers.
some credit.
Numbers.
Yep.
Bruh.
Mm-hmm.
On God.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up.
On God. Bruh.
We'll save it. We're
Gang,
gonna wrap
gang.
this up.
No, she wants to. I thought you wanted to talk about it.
It's okay.
I also got a ring. It's pretty flousy.
He flashed.
I'm flexing on the haters with this
Flashing
ring.
with that. Mm-hmm.
Look at me. We're gonna do a spin the wheel challenge. Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Well, yeah, but I mean, just all of it. Like,
You can talk about it if you want.
well, we should just save it.
No, go ahead.
Cause the spin the wheel, we have some things like that we have in mind for the spin the wheel. But basically, we have a series of challenges that are coming up that we are going to film, and they should be really fun and entertaining.
That was so vague. But
Well,
yes.
yeah, because I didn't want to go into it all the way.
No, I get it. Yeah, like leave a little mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I kind of already told them with the wheel thing, but they don't know what the challenge will be yet.
Exactly.
But
That's
they'll
what I
be
said.
good. Okay.
Exactly.
Mark
That's what I
my
said. A
words.
series of
Yeah.
different challenges.
Yes.
So give the people something to look forward to.
Right. Yeah. Should we give them a little taste of like a couple of them? Like, what are a couple of them? What are a couple of these challenges, Trey? Why don't you
Should
let
we
the
do
people know?
that?
Just name a couple. We're gonna have a bunch.
Well, we kind of did that already in the last one, so we'll still just wait.
Oh, you mean like the cooking? and
Yeah,
all that?
because not
But
even
that's
just
a totally
that.
different type of video.
I know, but I'm saying like we still have to make that. Let alone just keep throwing stuff out there and we're like, hey, you guys keep saying you're gonna do this and that. And you're
I
not,
know.
You know
Just
what I
make-
mean?
yeah.
So that's why I'm like,
No,
let's
that's-
not put our foot
Yeah,
in our
I already
mouth.
have. I feel like I already have like a laundry list of like
Exactly.
things I say I'm gonna do. Like
Exactly. So
I'm
that's
gonna
what
make
I'm like,
music. I've never said this, but I'm gonna get a platinum record, bro.
yeah,
No, I'm just kidding, but hopefully that'd be cool.
that would be cool. But I'm just saying, like, we already
That
got
actually
enough
is
stuff
something I
out
would
there.
love to do.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if that'll ever happen because like holy shit.
might.
How hard is that to do? You probably have to get like 1 billion streams.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I had that thought. I thought it one time.
Mhm.
But yeah, I actually really do want to like make some music that's like that dope.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not even about how dope the music is, and
just
dope
an
isn't really the
experience.
best description.
Yeah.
How
Or
good
just
the
some
music is.
music that you're passionate about.
Yeah, because I feel like some music, it's like the artist is just like on a label that basically does everything for them.
Yeah, and they're kind of like a
And
puppet.
they're just like a puppet. They're like a
Mhm.
model for them to just like, here, take this, do this, wear this, go here.
We wrote this, you sing it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. We made the beat and like and that part of me is like, whatever, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like the artistic integrity side of me is like, you're just selling out at that
Yeah.
point. But also good for you, like for like the extreme levels of success. So I'm not trying to be like a hater, basically. At the end of the day, like it's just like different strokes for different folks. Like I still like stuff like that to an extent, but I
Mhm.
also really love like what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to like actually play guitar and like play drums and sing and like play with other people who do that stuff. And like, but I want to like branch out. Like I was working with David, and David like produces music and he writes songs for people and he makes videos, and it's like that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind working with somebody on something like that just to see how it goes. But so far, my experience of it, I feel like I would rather be like pulling the strings and like making decisions about how things are gonna be, rather than somebody just like. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
Guess it just depends.
a part of me also kind of wants somebody to just be like, here's this song, like perform it. You know what I mean? Like here's the lyrics. But if it wasn't like my style, then I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, because
You know
I was
what mean?
gonna say, just in knowing you and when you were in other bands, that didn't work well.
Well, like when I was just at David's the other day and we tried to start writing a song, and it was like going kind of well, but he was trying to come up with a vocal melody and I was playing some guitar, and it was like, I don't know what his process is always like, and I don't know what it's like to work with me because I am me, you know? So I can only imagine like being in someone else's shoes, what it's like working with me, but like I felt, I don't know, he was just coming up with like a vocal melody, and then I was thinking to myself, like, it doesn't sound bad, but is it, like, if I'm supposed to be the one singing it,
It's not your
then, like,
style.
it's not going to sound like that.
Yeah.
Because he sings like so differently than I do. And I could like try to sing like him, but I just don't feel like it would come naturally. Or I feel like I would be like making fun of him or something, because it's just not my thing. So I would just can't do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I can't. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this stuff out as I go. Just
Comes
like
with
everything.
time, so
Yeah.
you'll get it. But we're gonna wrap this up right here.
Well, no, let's talk about what we're gonna do, huh? No, we're doing too much of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Because
have.
you think if you just that is something else though. I felt like I talked too much about doing stuff and then not doing it. So it's like you want to be more bite than bark.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. We have a bunch out there already.
We've been barking a lot.
We've been barking.
I have
a
in
lot.
particular,
Exactly.
especially on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But like, I feel.
Own it.
Thank you. I feel like, yeah, no, I did have that realization the other day that I was like watching one of my videos back, and I was just like, man, I'm just talking about all this stuff, but I'm not like doing. Like I need to do more and talk less, and let my actions speak for me. But I also think it's important to like put that stuff out there. Like you want to vocalize what you're trying to do. I think to an extent.
You do.
You gotta like, because then you're like holding yourself accountable. That's my thought process on it. It's like if I say I'm gonna do all this stuff and I fall short, that's fine to fall short on stuff too. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's also good to like put that out in the world so it becomes a real thing.
Okay, but we're gonna hold off on that because you put out plenty.
No, let's say it.
Kev, I'm really done. Okay, I'm gonna walk off of it before it's done if you don't stop now. I gotta go.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. All right. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another episode of Food for Thought brought to you by Teray and Kev. If you want to support the podcast and the channel, you can like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification if you want to be alerted every time a new video goes up. And if you really want to support like financially, that'd be dope. If you want to, you know, send me like a nickel over PayPal or something, I'll use it towards podcasts. But, you know, also we're looking for like sponsorships and brand deals eventually.
That would be awesome.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
My friend Randall, shout out Randall at Odd Header. Check out Odd Header. It's ODDHEAR HAEADER.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it.
Thanks. He just got a brand deal recently, and I was like, dang, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I mean, I don't really expect anything right now, but you never know.
Yeah.
Put that, like I said, you just put it out there, and maybe like
Exactly.
the universe will do
Manifest
its
it.
thing. Yeah, that's what I'm
Just
saying.
put
That's
it
what we
into
gotta
the
talk
universe.
about this stuff. You gotta manifest.
Yeah, but you can't just manifest by saying it. So let's just start doing
That's
some
a
of
true
the things
statement
on
too.
the list.
Yeah, because I've met so many people who are just like, I'm going to be a famous rapper.
Yep.
And
If
it's
I
like-
say it, I believe it, and it's gonna happen for me.
Right? No, dude, I feel like that's what I thought. I was like, damn, I'm like becoming one of those people.
Yeah. So let's just kind of like
You're like, yeah,
get out
dude.
of that.
Like,
Yeah.
damn, have I been that person for a while? Am I that person?
No, but you
Be
will.
real with me, dude. Tell me straight to my face.
No, because you do some stuff, but some of the things that we've talked about, some of the things you've talked to these people about,
Mm-hmm.
you have not done.
I know, man. I hate it too. I'm well aware too. It's not like I'm like delusional.
But you know
about
what's
it.
crazy? The
Like, I
good
get
thing
it.
about it is it's a simple fix.
Right? You just gotta do it.
You got to do it.
Exactly. That's
So.
the beauty of it. And I don't know. I'm just trying to keep going. But all
I
right,
know,
I'm
and
done.
I'm
I'm
tired.
done. I know. I'm sorry. I just love doing this so much.
Yeah.
Well, until next time, Miss Lanier.
Until next time.
It was a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine.
Pleasure was mine too.
Okay.
All right.
All right then. I'll see you later.
I'll see you in 5
It's
minutes.
getting awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Let's let go.
we did a good job.
We did.
Oh, sorry.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.